Hello everyone. So today I am doing a first impressions on the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palette. I obviously did 2 looks today using this palette, and I will get into my thoughts after I do my first impressions, but sneak peek, I'm really actually quite impressed by this. So I won't blabber on too much longer. Yeah, here is the look. Hope you enjoy. Okay, hello. Please excuse my unplugged eyebrows, but we're just going to jump right into it. I think today my plan is to do a pink look and an orange look on each of my separate eyes. We'll see how that goes. I may abort that mission, but anyway. So I think I'm going to start off with, we'll see if I can show you the shade Love Handles. It's the third, nope, you cannot see that. The shade Love Handles, it is this shade in the palette right here. So I'm just gonna use this as a transition shade. Oh, by the way, I've primed my eyes using the NARS Pro Prime eyeshadow primer, and I've also set my eyes just with my face powder. Right out the gate though, I can tell that these shadows are quite powdery. I actually haven't used my original Jaclyn Hill in a while, but I think they are pretty similar to the Cake-Up that you get with her palette. Maybe a tiny hair more. So far it's blending out well. I mean, I haven't really used it extensively yet, but first impressions of the shadow. And my eyelids are extra scaly today, so that's really going to actually test the shades quite well. One thing I do notice though is that there are not a ton of super light shades, so all the transition shades are a bit deeper. I'm not going to complain about that too much because I have my pick of many other shades and many other palettes for transition shades. So next I think I'm going to go into this shade right here called Heart On, and just put that in my crease. It's kind of like a really like neon pink with like almost a hint of coral in it. Really beautiful. I'm sure I've already said this in the intro because I haven't filmed it yet, but I love the shade selection in this palette. I think it's really fun, and these are like my tones. These are the colors that I absolutely love to wear in my eyes. I love pink shades and I love really bright oranges. They're like my absolute favorite. I mean, so far they seem to be blending out like pretty well. I definitely haven't had issues with anything thus far. Pretty pigmented, no issues blending. You know what, guys? So far, truly, so far so good. Okay, and now I'm just gonna quickly blend this out using a clean brush, just the edges. Still having no issues, pretty good. I'm not impressed because I feel like I had high expectations to begin with because I loved her original palette so much, but I'm definitely not disappointed per se. And now I'm going to go in with this shade right here called Crazy. It's the second to last shade in the palette, and I'm just gonna put that a little bit lower in my crease, outer V, you know the drill. And the mattes are layering really nicely and beautifully on top of each other. They're not turning like muddy or anything. I sound like I'm fucking sponsored by Jaclyn Hill. I'm not, actually. I feel like I just went, and I haven't even watched any reviews or anything. I feel like I just went into this video just like, I didn't even feel like I really doubted the shadows at all, just because I fucking love her original palette so much. Her Vault collection wasn't as quite a hit for me, but I still enjoy it and I do use it still regularly. But these to me feel better, like better eyeshadows than her Vault collection. But I'm still not convinced that it's the exact same formula as her original palette. Now I think, let me show you. I think I'm gonna go into this shade called Empowered. It's right here. It's a really deep metallic. Okay, so I don't know whether this is just a straight shimmer or a pressed glitter. It looks like the same, like, kind of consistency as the pressed glitters in this palette. But I haven't actually looked that up because I'm a horrible makeup reviewer. So I never do this. Truly, I never do this, but I'm going to go in with a shade Dry just for the sake of science, just to see what it do. Okay, right out the bat, I feel like it's brighter than it looks in the actual pan. I'm gonna go in with that a little bit on my finger. To see if I can build the intensity up a little bit. I'm really impressed by that. It looks really, really, really pretty. Quite glittery, like I just said. I'm just gonna blend that out a little bit with the brush I used for the Crazy shade. Maybe I'll take a little bit more of the Crazy shade and blend it into the lid shade. Quite nice. And I'm just gonna go in with like the tiniest hint of Love Handles and go over the very edge. Okay, and then on a really small little flat brush, I keep forgetting that I have to show you, I'm going to take this Certified shade, so this light, she called it a white in her video. To me, this looks more like a cream, but I think I'm quite a bit fairer than her. Actually, okay, that looks kind of white. It looks like quite a bit deeper in the pan, so be warned by that. Okay, and so I think I'm gonna do my lower lash line now. I'm just going to take the Hard On shade and the Crazy shade and blend that out, and then maybe blend it out with a little bit of Love Handles. For the sake of time, I think I'm just gonna speed you up through that. And then for the inner corner, I'm going to go in to this shade right here called I'm In It. It's the second shade in the palette. Just looking at it, it reminds me a lot of, I think it's Cube from the Subculture, my BH Subculture palette. Hopefully it performs better than that because it's not my favorite shadow to work with. It's pretty. It's not super like metallic though. It's more of like an iridescent type like glow, you know, but it's not like a duochrome or anything. It's very much like a glowy, like slightly shimmery shade. It's really, really pretty, but it's not like a white to pink duochrome flip shimmer type of shade. Okay, so for my orangey look, I think I'm going to go in with the shade No Joke, which is just here. Why don't I show you like I've been doing this entire video? Keep things consistent here. This yellow shade, No Joke, and put it again just like as a transition shade in my upper crease. I I really love yellow. I love putting it in my crease as a transition shade. It's a very true yellow. Like, it's not, like she said in her video, it's not like a mustard or anything like that, or it's a very like true just yellow. I think I'm going to go in with this shade My Man right in the middle. I'm intrigued because it looks quite neon, so I'm interested to see how it actually goes on. Wow, that's actually super fucking nice. Okay, like, I thought I was gonna like this palette, and I haven't even, like, I didn't swatch it or anything before I, like, filmed this. It's just been sitting on my kitchen table making me feel sad that I haven't been able to play with it yet, but I had high expectations in the sense that, like, I thought it was gonna be good. Like, I didn't expect to be disappointed. I don't know, I feel like Jaclyn Hill's quite a controversial character, and I feel like probably a lot of people were like, oh, it's gonna be shit right out the gate. However, it's actually surpassing my expectations. Like, this is coming together in literally no time. I like fucking take my time with my eyeshadow. I'm like annoying about it. Like, I take a while, and this is like the fastest I've actually done my eyeshadow in a long ass time. Like, truly, I'm actually like super happy and super impressed with this. I'm going to take this shade Stage Brew right here, and I'm going to put that in my crease as well. It's like a, well, it is a purple, but it looks like it almost has like a tiny bit of red in it, which is interesting. It's really, really pretty. So this is turning into a little bit more of a peacocky eye look rather than an orange one, but you know what, like, I'm not mad at it. Yeah, and like I said before, these mattes layer super well on top of each other. I'm really not having issues at all. Normally I don't, but I think if you use, oftentimes when you use a lot of like pastel-y mattes on top of each other, they can kind of just like blend away. And these are blending into each other like super, super beautifully. Like with little to no effort on my part. And also, like I mentioned briefly at the beginning, my eyelids are hella dry. Like, usually things don't really blend that well when my eyelids are this dry, but like on my other eye I had no issues at all. This one, there's a little bit of patchiness here, but like that's honestly not the shadow, that's truly just my crusty eyelid. Okay, so my camera stopped recording, but just quickly, I finished up my left eye look. I used the shade Talia on my lid, and then I used the same shades as I did in my crease on my lower lash line, and I used my face highlighter in my inner corner, which was just the Natasha Denona Super Glow Highlighter in Fair. And then I put lashes on, a mascara and liner. I used the ColourPop gel liner in Swerve, which is a black. Everything will be listed in the description box as usual. And I put on a little bit of blush. It's a Tarte Party Blush. And I used the Fenty Gloss Bomb in the shade Fussy. Now let's talk about this beautiful thing. So I'm actually really just happy. Like, it's actually been a really long time since playing with eyeshadow has made me just like this happy and content, and I just feel like so good. I love this. I didn't go into this with like poor expectations, let it be known. Like, I thought it was gonna be probably good because I really like her original palette, and her Vault collection isn't like as big of a hit for me, but like I like it and I use it a lot still. So I was like, you know what? I don't think this is gonna be bad because I generally like her collabs with Morphe, However, I wasn't actually expecting this. This is a really fucking nice palette. Like, this is just a first impressions. I haven't used all of the shades, but I've used a lot. I used the shade Certified, I'm in it, Love Handles, No Joke, Talia, My Man, Heart On, Empowered, Stay True, Crazy, and then Temptress. I just think that these are so good. They blend really well. They layer super nicely. Like, I feel like when you look at shades like these that are often like quite pastel or almost neon, I just assume that layering them is going to be difficult. Like, a lot of times with neon shades, layering them on top of each other just like kind of makes them patch up and lift off each other a little bit. I did not experience that with these whatsoever. They blend so nicely into each other just seamlessly. And like, I fucking take a long time with my eyeshadow. Like, I am high maintenance. I take a while. With these, I felt like it took me no time. Like, I was just blending, talking, I wasn't thinking about it, and then I was like, oh wait, these shadows are actually blending really, really well. And they're also really, really pigmented. Like, I had no issues building them up. I just put them on, blended them out, was good to go. I'm just so thoroughly impressed with this palette. Like I said, I went into it with good expectations, and it actually surprised me how well it performed. So that's like mostly the mattes that I'm talking about. I used two of the shimmer shades. Again, I used the shade Empowered and then this gold shade down here, Talia. So the Empowered shade I really liked. It went on super nicely. I believe they are both the pressed glitter shades. Now, when I first heard that she was having like pressed glitters in this palette, I was like, why though? Because I literally detest pressed glitters. They're bad for the environment. They're hazardous to your eyeballs in a lot of cases. And I just like literally despise when people put pressed glitters in palettes. So I was like, are you actually joking? But these, I feel like pressed glitters is honestly the wrong term for them. They're more of like a really glittery eyeshadow. Like eyeshadow with a lot of really fine glitter in it. I found them relatively easy to use. I would say the best method of application for them is your fingers, which is, I mean, it is what it is. I usually like using a brush. I did have a little bit of issues in terms of the brush actually picking up the actual shadows. I was using a really flat brush and I felt like it wasn't quite picking up all the shadow. But when I went in with my finger, it went on really nicely. A wet brush you can make do. A dry brush, like literally don't even try it. It's not gonna happen. It literally was like nothing. I put my brush in, put it on my eye, and there was like nothing there. Obviously I would have to try more of the shimmers to like give you a really accurate like representation of how they all work, but they seem nice. And when you actually get them on your eyes, they're really glittery and really, really quite pretty. So I have no issues with them. And they're not like pressed glitters. Again, they're not pressed glitters. They're like glittery eyeshadows. This I'm In It shade I used is really, really beautiful. It's not like a really metallic, like pink, white, duochrome metallic type deal. It's not that. It's more of like a glowy iridescent shade almost. It's really, really nice. It reminds me a lot of the ABH Cube shade that's in the Subculture palette, but like it actually works a little bit better. I'm not a hater of the Subculture palette, but the Cube shade in there is difficult to work with, but it's also really, really unique. I love the black in here. It's super black, but also really easy to blend. Like overall, I'm just so impressed with this palette. Like truly so impressed. I love the color scheme. If you guys well, obviously, if you guys don't know me, anyone who knows me knows that these are my tones. These are my shades. I love pinks and purples and bright oranges. Those are like what I love to wear. I didn't experience a ton of follow. I didn't really have any followed at all with the matte shades, which I actually, again, was surprised by. And I had a little bit of like glitter follow with the glittery eyeshadows, but nothing major at all. I have experienced worse. Okay, my camera keeps stopping recording on me, so I'm gonna make the remainder of this video relatively quick. I was just talking about the fact that I feel like this isn't actually her. I'm not convinced that this is her like original formula. I feel like it's a little bit different, but almost better. I think it's a little bit more powdery, but overall, like truly I have nothing negative to say as of now with these eyeshadows. I think they're so beautiful. The only thing I would say is that I feel like this palette, the only thing I would say is that I feel like this palette, I want like a touch more depth. You do have a black, so you are able to create a little bit more depth with that, but I just like find myself wanting for a little bit more depth. But other than that, I'm so impressed by this. Like honestly, I'm really happy, especially because it's $50 Canadian. And for $50 Canadian, I would honestly happily pay that for this, and I did, and I'm happy with my purchase. I really enjoy it. So that's pretty much all I have to say, and I will do close-ups now of the swatches and leave you to be on your way with the rest of your day. So I'll see you next time. Bye. Like, Jaclyn Hill, please send me $60,000 because I think I'm giving your palette a rave review.